We're live. So I don't think I have the War Report song, but I've got a song because today, or yesterday rather, was tax day.
For the people that don't think he actually had a theme song.
The weird thing is, you would think it was just the Money Inc. theme song.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there was an evil tax collector song. Like, this is like,
Erwin R. Shyster.
it makes me think of like the movie Wall Street or something.
Yep. Yeah, it could be like some bad 80s intro to like some B movie.
Serious. Yeah.
It'll go with that explosion, that video that you posted last night on your Facebook.
So yes, this is. I hope you filed your taxes, as Erwin R. Shyster would always say to all the tax cheats out there. If you look up on YouTube, there is in fact a from an old VHS, Erwin R. Shyster's top 10 tax tips, such as claiming all of the money that you made, your kid made selling lemonade. Like, it was really weird. Like, the top 10 tax tips were all like, very minor, like, oh, why didn't you file for that tag sale that you sold all that stuff at? I'm not
All
trying to
because
clip
Vince
this
McMahon does not like the IRS.
That's happened a lot in Vince McMahon's history. There was, of course, Triple H was a knock on all of the Greenwich snobs that he lived with, the Hunters, the Hearst, the Helmsleys. Who else did he not like?
He didn't like Repo Men.
Right, yeah. He's, for some reason, he didn't like Repo Men, so he put out Repo Men.
I wonder if he didn't like Garbage Guy. I wonder if he didn't like Garbage Guys, and that's how Duke the Dumpster Droese got his.
I bet you one morning there was a guy, a garbage man, that just banged the cans. Because you guys don't remember this, but back in the day, they were metal trash cans.
Yep.
And they weren't these nice, sleek plastic ones that a machine arm picks up and silently dumps into. That's not what happened. There were two overweight Italian men on the back of a dump truck. And one of them drove and the other one grabbed the metal can and then shook it as hard as possible and banged it against the side of the back of the dump truck. Bang, 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 bang. At 7 o'clock.
So now, wait a minute. So, like, in Connecticut, they have the ones that pick up the plastic and throw it in. I never saw that before until I got to Virginia.
Yeah, we've had those for, maybe a little less than 10 years, maybe.
They don't have those in New York. So the first time Justin and I and the kids saw that, we're like, what the hell is that? And we don't have to pay for our garbage either in New York. So, like, wait, we have to pay per month for garbage? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's part of that. Yep. Welcome to the suburbs.
I lived in the suburbs.
Oh, that's true. You did. Yeah.
I lived in the suburbs. This is just like.
I assure you, folks, we're a wrestling podcast, but we're gonna talk about some other stuff. In case you haven't, if you're watching the live stream, you will notice that it is just myself, Vince, and of course, Kat is joining me all the way from Virginia now, and Steve, I think is this one of his late nights at work?
No, Skinner's in Florida for his daughter's birthday, remember?
Oh, the Skinner's in Florida with the Gators. All right. Yeah, so he's all right. So happy birthday to Steve's daughter. Yeah. Wow. So he's away.
I had to call him Skinner. That was freaking hilarious. He's like, just minus the chewing tobacco. I said, and the hair.
Definitely and the hair. But yeah, he posted pictures from that's right. He posted pictures from Florida, and there were gators in some of the pictures.
Not just gators in the pictures, there were gators extremely close.
Oh,
There's a reason why New Yorkers should watch the signs in Florida.
Well, I mean, in New York, the alligators are in the sewer. So,
right.
Yeah, that's my favorite. What do they call them? Not even conspiracy theory. What was it? Urban legend. It's my favorite urban legend was that people would buy like pet alligators, and when they got too big to take them, to take care of them, they would flush them down the toilet, and then the alligators would live down there, feeding off whatever gets flushed down there.
It
And they
has
would
happened before, though, that I've seen alligators being rescued from sewers on Long Island, though. Not going to say that doesn't happen often, but it's happened.
so maybe it's not an urban legend. Oh my god. So yeah, Steve's in Florida dealing with the Gators. I don't know where Eric is. He comes and goes. Ryan, I haven't seen him in a minute. So it's just us tonight. And Eddie, I'm sure if Eddie's got the link, he can tap in whenever he wants. Um, Show here. I'm sure that's Tara. Hello. And if it's not Tara, I apologize. Hello, other person.
It's not Justin because he would post something vulgar, so we know it's not
That's
him.
very true. So we are, of course, here on the War Report Pro Wrestling Podcast, not talking about anything pro wrestling right now because we got sidetracked by IRS and then Duke the Dumpster Drosy. But I suppose we should talk
with
about
sports entertainment.
Yes, we're talking about sports entertainment now. Um, Before I get into anything real specific in like terms of Raw and all that, I might have to. I think I pulled the results up on my phone. But anyway, there's some stuff coming out. Booker T kind of commented on some stuff that Cody said, and then like I don't know, the whole thing's kind of weird. Cody did an interview where he said that he made a political decision to not challenge for the title in AEW, and that ultimately hurt him, and that if he were to do it again, he wouldn't have necessarily taken that action. Kind of intimated in the in this interview that he was not maybe not ready to be a VP or couldn't really focus on the performance aspect of it while being a vice president. And Booker T kind of backed it up and said, hey, it's hard for nobody. Booker T kind of went over the top and said nobody has been able to be a VP or be in charge and also be a performer. When that's not true. Just quality aside, Rick was a booker and a talent at the same time. Dusty was a booker and a talent at the same time. All the major territories, Gagne's
as much as I despise him, Kevin Sullivan,
the Von Erichs were booking and they were talent. You know what I mean? So it's like,
look at Triple H.
Exactly. So like for Booker to say that, it's like, no, it's just maybe it wasn't the right fit for Cody, but also I don't know, man, this is pro wrestling and you're telling a story. And it's a good story initially that the guy Cody, who you would see as, oh yeah, they're going to put the title on Cody because he's the most marketable. He's former WWE guy. He's young, whatever, all the pluses that you have for putting the title on a guy like Cody. But then you hear the whispers in the background of, oh, Cody started this own company so he could put the title on himself because he couldn't get it done in WWE. All these guys just wanted to start their own company so they could win all the titles and put the titles on their friends. And that like got in his head. And so he made the decision to lose that match to Jericho and put that stipulation on there. But it sort of was a good, it's at the time, it seemed like a good faith gesture to the fans. Like, hey, I'm not just here to put the title on myself, but also it's not a legally binding contract that only the Supreme Court could disintegrate. It's pro wrestling. This is fiction. It was a fictional contract. If you wanted to, and the way to do this is I think every wrestling fan knows what's going to happen. If there's a stipulation and you want to break it, especially something like where you can't challenge for a title, you turn heel, you do something dastardly, you steal the title and hold it hostage until the champion gives you a title shot. You have another match to get your stipulation overturned, and
or you're the executive vice president. You just write a new contract.
And you're right, and you go, I'm the bad guy, and I've got the pencil, and boom. So a lot of ways out of it. Cody never took any of them and insisted to stay babyface the whole time. And I think to this day doesn't realize that his insistence on staying babyface is what ended up souring the back half of his AEW run and made WWE a viable option where he can still just, again, this thing blows my mind, just part and parcel, same outfit, same music, same presentation, same everything, expecting different results. And so far, yes, they cheered him, but that's also the same thing that happened in AEW because Cody, you want to cheer Cody, and then you get mired in the Codiness of Cody. And then you start, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, because you even said it because you personally have known him or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to like Cody. Yeah. This is the fucking Rhodes legacy. Even when Goldust was a heel, he was still getting pops.
Yeah.
This is the Rhodes legacy. This is what they do. But I see what you're saying. I think you and I are the only two that like. I'm not on the Cody Mania bandwagon right now.
I just because the thing that gets me is he's saying all this stuff about, oh, I made this decision and it hurt, but like again, you were it was not like Tony Khan booked Cody Rhodes into a corner. Cody
Right,
Rhodes booked Cody and could have
right,
gotten out of it, but
right.
didn't want to turn heel, which is weird because if you go to what if Vince in a month says, I want you to be heel against whoever,
Right.
Brock Lesnar, whatever. So he's got to go heel, right? He's getting
Right.
paid millions of dollars by Vince. He's not just going to say no. So why is it different that he would? It just seems the last 5 or 6 years of Cody's independent run, founding AEW, starting a revolution, all this, it just sounds so phony looking back on it now.
Yep.
And I hate to sound, oh, you big Mark. Oh, you got worked by a wrestler. I understand.
No, he became, like I've said it before, he's the Nickelback now of wrestling.
Right. He became the face of a revolution and
Right.
then decide. And that's to get back to this whole title stipulation thing. Now it almost looks like was Cody not 100% invested in AEW? So this was his way of, if he wanted a way out, he
Yep.
didn't have to drop. He didn't have the title on him, and he didn't feel obligated. Hey, I'm the world champion. I have to stay somewhere that I don't want to be. Like it almost feels like he was hedging his bets of like, not then. Then it seemed like a gesture of good faith towards the fans.
Right.
He wasn't
Now, but as the years progressed, yeah.
right, because in a week, the whole story changed from I can't go back there. Oh, they changed people. He goes on AEW's TV and talks about how they fuck up the Cody Cutter or they fucked up the Crossroads on NXT. They changed people's names, like smashing a throne, golden shovels, all this stuff about, oh, I can never go back. They won't let me back. Next thing you know, ching, 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 and he's back. Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, and like the kids, everyone I see, they're all like, "Yeah, it's Cody Rhodes." Yeah, da, da, da. I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
yeah,
And don't get me wrong, the WrestleMania entrance was cool.
right.
Like I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." I'm gonna give props to the fact that wrestling only has one royal family, and the pop and everything was great. So the WrestleMania moment aspect, which he deserved years ago just by his in-ring talent, that was a cool moment to see. Cody and Seth probably put on the best match of WrestleMania weekend besides Bianca and Becky, in my opinion. But other than that, could care less that he's there.
Yeah, it's almost like there was all this anticipation on what he was, and this is not going to be the shit on Cody Rhodes for an hour podcast. We're going to move on to other topics. But in his last promo in AEW, he said, I'm going to take you guys on a ride. We're going to do something that's never been done before. Yeah, so like when he quits, you're going, okay, this guy quits in big fucking air quotes. Yeah. And then no, it's but even the reality of it is like, all right, well, Brian Pillman's done this shit before. It's not like they haven't legitimately filed paperwork on some stuff to make a wrestling angle true. But
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, NWO, yeah.
There's always a blurred line there, but is this so now I wonder how much of that was just Cody trying to put a spin on stuff and how much of it is like in a couple years when this contract runs out, if he wants to go back to AEW, does he go, this is the ride I was talking about. You guys didn't think I'd be back, did you? All this like, and try and like kickstart the whole deal. Like, I don't know what the end game is here. If there ever was a thought of a complete story or an end game, I can't see the finish.
Don't forget now. Let's go down 3-4 years when this contract is up or whatever. You damn well know that Vince McMahon put that 90-day clause in there. So he can't put anything out anywhere, AEW, anything, anywhere. Vince McMahon owns him again right now when it comes to that.
And the whole entrance song is about how Vince McMahon ruined his life and stole his last name and stole his family's legacy and all this. Like the whole song is anti-Vince McMahon. And he's like, yeah, big baby face. Vince is happy. And that makes me wonder, because Vince is a carny from way back.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I wonder how much of this is Vince wants Cody, as in he believes Cody Rhodes is a top tier talent. Eric just popped in, but I'll give him a second. Like, does Vince McMahon believe that Cody Rhodes is a top tier main event talent that deserves to be in there from the work that he put in? Or did Vince McMahon, the businessman, see this as an opportunity to poach a top name talent from AEW and treat them right in order to get to somebody else that he wants? Because now there's rumors that WWE wants FTR back. There's, rumors that they want MJF when his contract's up, Wardlow when his contract's up. There's, and they have an unlimited budget as far as that's concerned, because they can just
they
fire
have an unlimited. But guess what? Eric. I mean, Eric was a.
Well, here's Cody, Eric. We're gonna bring him on the show.
That's it. Cody Rhodes is one thing about bringing him in or whatever, because he fits the PG mold, so to speak.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There is no way on God's green earth that Vince McMahon will be able to control MJF's fucking mouth. He thought CM Punk was a problem with pipe bombs. Never gonna. There's got to be something in that contract, clause wise or whatever, because there is no way that he's not gonna pipe bomb on something.
Oh, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is like, I mean, also listen, I guess the kid's young and he could censor himself if he's getting paid enough. But
how many people? Okay,
would you want to?
Eric included. How many people do you know from Long Island that actually fucking censor themselves? How many people do you know from Long Island that actually play it by the book and don't roll off the cuff no matter what's going on, whether you're supposed to say it or not say it? Look at the silence out of Vince. Go ahead. Yeah. We got the lady of the lake. We'll just drown you, okay?
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it, man. Like, listen, and again, it all boils down to the same thing. It's the same in a lot of industries. In music.
Yeah, see, Tara can even attest to that. She's Long Island too.
Right. And Tara goes, not me. Yeah, she doesn't. Tara's very outspoken as well in these comments, trust me. But like in music, it's always like, do you want to like have like somebody write these crappy pop songs for you and you're going to be famous because you sang the, you're mainstream? Or do you want to be like more like a Nirvana and start, be an indie kind of grungy group and do it on your own and make your own way? It's the same thing in like stand-up comedy or like in acting. Do you want to be like, with stand-up comedians, it's always like, do you want to take the easy paycheck of like being a dumb character on a sitcom, or do you like want to grind in dingy little clubs and hope to get that like HBO hour special? You know what I mean? Like it's the between the paycheck and the art. Are you an artist, or are you a business person, or are you somewhere in between? And like,
right, are you the George Carlin, or are you the Chris Rock?
And it's like, or it's even more, it's like, are you your local diner, or are you Applebee's or 99 Steakhouse? You know what I mean? Like,
don't put an Applebee's as the comparator. That's not much better.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, are you a local Applebee's on a date night? No, are you like a local restaurant, or are you a chain restaurant? You know what I mean? Like, are you selling out or not? I don't want to say sell out because it's making money and you got to make money.
Are you an Italian restaurant or Olive Garden? How about that?
Yeah, and there's like,
yeah, there you go.
But there's, it seemed the last few years that Cody was an artist suffering for his art, not necessarily suffer, but you know what I mean? He was somebody who in his song, I gave it all away, I threw it all away to build my kingdom. And that was like the artist building his own art and creating this thing. And now he just goes, well, it's not about the art, it's about the money. This is a business at the end of the day. And it's like, bro, you gotta, like, I don't want to say pick a side, but like at least be somewhat consistent. Like, I don't know.
It's fitting. Like I said, I'm gonna change this life for fortune and fame. I'd even cut my hair and change my name. That should be his new theme song.
Oh man.
Give him rock stars.
Cody's gonna be a big rock star with bleach blonde hair. Brandy's driving a car. Oh my God.
The girls come easy and Eden comes cheap. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, Eden. Yo, if Eden Styles comes back, that would be the wouldn't that be the ultimate slap? Change your name back to our, stupid name for you. I guess. All right. So, Eric, I'll just, because I want you to just at least you kind of get the picture of what we've been talking about. We're just talking about like the whole conversation leading up to this. By the time you logged in, was like, there was a lot of anticipation behind seeing what Cody was going to do, and he made the WrestleMania entrance and all. There was a lot of hype behind him, and now it's like a couple weeks later, the dust is kind of settled, and are we sold on this WWE version of Cody? Like, is it right? Is she? Kat has her interest has flatlined in the latest Cody
Well,
update. So
wasn't that our prediction anyway?
Yeah.
Like that was going to happen, you know? Like
that's why you should tune into this show pretty regularly, folks. A broken clock is right twice a day, and I'd like to think we're right a little bit more than that. But no, we definitely called it where it's like we're all hyped up. We're like, what Cody Watch? Everybody called it Cody Watch. We're all excited. Like the internet called it Cody Watch, and it was just like, oh, he debuted. Oh, he's just on Raw. Oh, he's shooting a Seth Rollins.
But honestly, I feel like that would happen with really anybody. No matter how their star caliber is, eventually it's going to die down.
Right, and it's kind of right. It's the diminishing return of a hyped thing coming out each time you come out. Even like
it's
CM
happened
Punk.
in AEW too. Like a lot of these people, like not a lot, but there's several that like, you know.
Yeah, well, because Punk is a good example because like there was all that big hype, like Rampage, which airs at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. It's a terrible time. Got like over 1 million viewers to watch Punk make his debut, and it's never hit that again because it's just, you know, that was Punk's re-debut. It's some of those people were old WWE fans watching to see it. Some people were curious. Some stuck around. Some didn't. But Rampage is only doing between 500 and 700,000, which is not, you know, listen, I'm not saying it's nothing, but it's not where it was with that Punk debut. And it's the same, you know, there's diminishing returns every time he comes out. It's like, oh, well, Punk's back now. Before it was Punk wasn't back and I needed to see him because this is only the first or second time he's been out. Now it's like, okay, Punk's been back 6 or 8 months. I'm used to him being part of the show.
But Cody Rhodes still isn't bringing in the numbers of what CM Punk's been doing, even with his half numbers on AEW.
Yeah,
that didn't sound right, but you know what I meant.
I know what you mean. Like I don't know if there's a group of AEW people who went, you know what? I'm only watching AEW on Wednesdays, but now that Cody's back, I'm going to watch Monday Night Raw for Cody, only because it's a 3-hour-long program, and you're going to see Cody for 20 minutes.
Right, but see, and here's the thing, though. Now this is week number 3 that he opened the show last night, because he's opened every 3 weeks, but then they tell you, he's going to wrestle tonight. No AEW fan is going to sit through 3 hours of Raw to wait for 10:40.
Right.
When he goes on, especially with the garbage that was in there last night. But Tween Hand.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch Raw, to be honest.
Neither. I only watched the recaps.
Yeah, we're all, you know,
I read about the results. There's a couple of things, well, several things that I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? And like decision wise, and you know, and the tribal chief wasn't even there. So what the fuck?
Right, and that's the other thing is like even if
that's for
Cody
you, Eddie.
Comes in, you know, that right because Eddie's not here. Cody coming in is exciting to a point, but then you go, well, if he's going to be champion, he's got to run into Roman Reigns, and that ain't happening. It's like anybody, even MJ, like they could take MJF or they could take FTR and be like, well, FTR's not losing to the Usos right now because the Usos have a story. So FTR would just come back for the paycheck to lose to the Usos and maybe eventually get their title shot. But like MJF, what is he going to, who's he going? He might beat like Austin Theory, but MJF's not going to come in and be like a world beater in the same way.
Austin Theory, though.
But that's what I'm saying. The buck stops with the main event guy in WWE is Roman Reigns. And if you're going to, you know, if the way he's being presented, none of these guys are going to make a big impact until after this kind of whole Roman Reigns thing has been decided with whoever's going to take him down. Because whoever beats Roman, then maybe Cody could beat that guy, or Seth could beat that guy, or Brock could beat that guy.
Right.
So far,
right.
Nobody's beating Roman. So
yeah,
if you're
otherwise
you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Until
otherwise, the only
Roman
way Cody's going to get that belt is if he, and I said belt, Miz. Only way he's going to get it if he, wins Money in the Bank.
That's the other, that is the one kind of.
But then again, that would be kind of like a cheap way to end Roman's title reign. I don't want that.
I did not even think about Money in the Bank until you just said that. What a waste of a fucking Money in the Bank that's going to be.
Well, because here's what's going to happen. I think Cody probably will. He has a good chance of winning the Money in the Bank because the last time he was in the Money in the Bank match, I believe it was the last time, was when it was him and Sandow screwed him over and turned on him and took the briefcase and then ran into John Cena and lost in like 2 seconds. So they could play into that like he was, not good. He couldn't make it. He almost made it. He was not good enough. Like that's the whole story, is that the story they're telling is Cody was never good enough, and now he feels like he is good enough, and he's like in the prime of his career. So if that's the story they're telling, he very well could win the Money in the Bank and maybe get a cheapo win. He could get a cheapo win on Roman Reigns if Roman had a long match or whatever, and he attacked him after the bell at the end of the pay-per-view, that kind of thing. But
it would still be the worst way to end Roman's reign.
As much as I am like looking forward to how they're going to end Roman Reigns' masterful reign, I got to go with my Mano Eddie on this one. That's not fair to the tribal chief.
No, I honestly, really, I think the plan should be to get one of these big guys, and by big, I mean physically in stature big guys ready. Like Parker Boudreaux, who now has some dumb name down in NXT 2.0.
Who doesn't
that's the
have
guy
a
who was
dumb
supposed
name
to
in
be
NXT.
he was supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar, and they stuck him with this like Joe Gacy, I'm a feminist guy or whatever it is. The guy that likes safe spaces and all that shit, which is another thing. Vince McMahon doesn't.
Rick Steiner.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Braun Breaker could be the guy to do it if they were smart enough to when they kind of change people's names, they do that anyway. If they re-debut him as Bronson Steiner, Rex Steiner, Robbie Steiner, Ray, it doesn't matter. Something Steiner, so you know who this fucking guy is. I am all 100% on board for in 8 months or a year, that's when you pull the trigger. Because I don't know if he's ready now, but he probably will be in a year. The other guy is just debuted kind of at WrestleMania, Gable Steveson, gold medal winner, big, imposing guy, legitimate shooter wrestler, the kind of guy, he's the kind of guy that like Regal or that Angle would have like scouted for them because he's a legit wrestler. So I really do like that they scouted him. He's gonna come in and train. He just finished his NCAA career and retired from at the end of the NCAA tournament after winning. So he's at the Performance Center now, and maybe he'll debut in NXT. But honestly, I would keep him way under wraps. Train him at the PC. Don't put him on TV at all until the Royal Rumble. He comes out, throws a bunch of people out, wins the Royal Rumble, bang, fucking faces Roman. Of course, The Rock facing Roman at WrestleMania throws that all out the window. But that's just something to do for somebody who you're trying to build up to take a big title.
So put Gable Steveson against Brock Lesnar in a non-title, keep the title out of the picture, and that's a big moment for him.
And I wonder if poor Chad Gable is going to have to get his name changed again.
Because as long as it's not Shorty G.
To what? Shoosh.
I think he's going to be Chad Alpha, just going by the way they're going. Could you imagine? Or the Alpha Chad. He's an Alpha Chad.
The Alpha Chad. Oh my God, you're the Alpha male, Alpha Chad. Jesus
Chad
Christ.
Shoosh.
Chad Shoosh.
That's gonna be. You guys might know me as Chad Gable,
the artist formerly known as. Oh my God.
You remember
Prince Ike? Yeah.
Oh my God. Hugh Morris comes out and he goes, "My name is not Hugh Morris. That was a brain fart by bad creative." And this is a fucking quote. He said this on live television. He goes, "My name is General Hugh G. Rection."
No.
And that's how they started the Misfits in Action.
Yeah, I
His
remember
real legal name was Hugh G. Rection. They wouldn't
Where
even
the
let
hell
you put
did this
that on.
happen? WCW?
This was WCW in like 2000 or 2001.
Oh my God. Oh, so that was during the Vince Russo era. No wonder I don't
Yes,
remember.
it was absolutely that was during the, "Oh no, that's your real name. We're gonna call Hulk Hogan Terry."
But that was,
you know what I mean?
That was Russo's attempt at his own DX for WCW, which clearly did not work.
What were they called? The New Bloods or something like that?
Well, first it was the MIA, the Misfits in Action. That was one. That was with Chavo was Lieutenant Loco. What's her name with the big old titties was
that narrows it down.
She was Asia, Tylene Buck. And she was, why did I pull that name out of nowhere? She was Major Guns. The other guy was Major Stash. Van Hammer
Lash LaRue
was Major Stash. Lash LaRue was Corporal Cajun.
Corporal Cajun, yep. And then that guy, the Wall, became Sergeant AWOL or something.
I am really glad I don't remember this because this sounds horrible.
It was bad.
Oh no, I mean, and this was actually decent if you compare it to the New Blood thing.
Oh yeah, the New Blood was. I don't understand that. I'd never
see. For me, I feel like they did the New Blood all wrong.
Yep.
Because, I mean, for obvious reasons, but my main thing is like they had them as the heels and the old guard as the baby faces. I think it should have been reversed.
Well, yeah, but they were never. That's the problem. They weren't gonna. The crowd wasn't gonna boo Flair and all those. At that point,
right?
Those guys
well,
were
yeah, that's
established.
that's true.
The thing, again, we're gonna get into something that's 20-something years old here, folks. That woulda, coulda, shouldas. But the whole idea of putting the old guys against the new guys and then just saying one side is gonna win and one side is gonna lose is like, all right. So if one side loses, then what? You've got your Millionaires Club. And then no young guys, and you have no cruiserweight division. Or if the young guys all win, you've got no heavyweight division. So why wouldn't you just mix, like, instead of having the old guys all be one and the young guys all be other, just like mix them up like pro wrestling does, like some guys are
it probably shouldn't have been old versus new. It should have been like a different types of teams, Yeah,
especially because God bless him, but Shane Douglas was like 37 years old and he was part of the New Blood. What in the fuck? Like, how?
So was Scott Steiner. He didn't belong in the New Blood.
Justify calling Vampiro. Nobody knew this. Vampiro was old as shit back then.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. When you go to Mexico, there's no such thing as an age anymore. That's like those guys who come over from the Dominican to play Little League Baseball and they're 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nobody knew how old Vampiro was. They thought he was 22 years old. He was like 40.
Yeah.
I used to have the Mexican CMLL cards and Vampiro was on it. So was Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley
and Chris Jericho as Corazon de Leon.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Norman Smiley's name was Black Magic.
Yep.
When he was.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I'm so glad Norman Smiley's still like alive and kicking. Norman Smiley's the best. The Big Wiggle. Arguably the most powerful finisher ever.
I loved that guy.
The hardcore division, he'd wear the football helmet, and that was one of the more entertaining things in that era.
Folks, go back and watch WCW 2000. It's a train wreck, and you can see Vince Russo's greasy little fingerprints.
He was just one of those guys that put a smile on your face, though. Whenever no pun intended to the last name being Smiley.
Yeah,
because he was a good. There's a reason he's still training people at the Performance Center. Norman Smiley is a very good, legitimate, technical wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a very good wrestler. And that was why you kind of liked him, because he was like, he wasn't this big, imposing guy that was ever going to be a world champion. But you're like, yeah, I like this guy. He can wrestle. Like, he can really, like, he was a hard worker. He was never going to win. He was like this little, that's why you could root for him. And
he was like a shooter. Like, you put him in the ring with Dean Malenko and they could really throw down.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes and shows his personality later on with the hardcore stuff. And like you said, wearing the catcher's gear or wearing the football helmet and the football pads. It was all,
It was one of the highlights of that awful era.
It was the highlight of a down period for sure.
Yeah.
But like the New Blood thing, we got Vampiro versus Sting and Hogan versus fucking Billy Kidman.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh God.
Hogan still talks about that. I put over Billy Kidman. Okay, buddy.
Dude, okay. This week, Hulk Hogan just needs to shut the fuck up.
Oh no, what did Hulk Hogan do this week?
What do you say now?
So this week, let's see. Jinder Mahal is the next Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, he said something like that.
Let me tell you something, brother.
And the one that really pisses me off is that he knows, because he was told, and he was told by his friends, that the Randy Savage, Stephanie McMahon shit is true. Because Randy told him.
Too.
First of all, you and Randy weren't even on the same wavelength of talking during that point, because he was still whole pissed about the Elizabeth thing. And then Gorgeous George comes out this week and says that one night when they were getting drunk and high, that Randy revealed the whole truth about that.
I don't believe anything that bitch says.
Amen.
I wouldn't, yeah.
So, but now she's trying to jump on the curtails of saying that what Hulk Hogan said is true.
Does she still look good, or is she a train wreck?
No, Stephanie Bellers looks like shit.
I was going to say, can we not? All right, yeah, because here's something that bugs me, guys. This is going to get real deep in the weeds, and I apologize to anybody who's in the live stream who's not interested in old wrestling stuff, but this is what you signed up for tonight, because Steve is
right
here to keep
baby.
us on track.
Look, see?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Dig it. Macho Man. This is why I have a problem with Stephanie Bellers using the name Gorgeous George. Macho Man Randy Savage bought from the family of the original Gorgeous George the rights to the name Gorgeous George. They were going to make Lanny Poffo the new Gorgeous George. Lanny Poffo bleached his hair blonde, started going to the gym, taking some horse tranquilizers, doing all the things that, wrestlers do in that era to get big and jacked and ripped and tan and blonde. And at the last minute, WCW pulled out of it. Now, two things happened on this. One of them is that Lanny Poffo had a guaranteed contract from WCW that was signed and executed, and he never once appeared on WCW television, collected a paycheck for 2 or 3 years to the tune of several $1 million. The other thing that happened is Macho, once they didn't bring in Lanny as Gorgeous George, because Macho had the rights to the name, and of course, whenever you get into a relationship with a tall, gorgeous, blonde woman with implants, you're going to be together forever, and nothing bad is ever going to happen. So why wouldn't you take the name that you spent thousands of dollars on to retain and give it to this broad that you're only going to be with for a couple years, and now she, after you're dead, gets to use that name after all the bullshit Randy Savage had to go through, and she ends up with the name Gorgeous George, and she's still, not so that she should be dead, but god damn it, Randy Savage must be rolling over in his fucking grave that he bought the rights to Gorgeous George for his brother, and now Stephanie Bellers is using it to this in 2022. You can find her going to conventions as Gorgeous George from WCW.
Yep, but still goes around now. Never had anything bad to say about him while he was alive. But now is on this rip train.
Right, now you can get clicks and engagement and likes and all kinds of, she can convert that into dollars really easily.
Yeah, I mean, like, you remember the AEW special? I mean, A&E specials they were doing.
Yes.
Or whatever. Bischoff was so pissed off at how the Randy Savage one went. And he even said, if I had seen this or known that that's what they were going to do that night and that was what was going to air, he goes, I never would have fucking done it.
Yeah.
Because that painted him in such a horrible light. It's not even funny because it was all fucking, because he was still in good with the WWE at that time. So it was all from Hulk Hogan's fucking perspective.
And I think that's why JR doesn't want to do those anymore.
JR stopped
Part
doing
of
Dark
it.
Side of the Ring.
Well, he stopped Dark Side of the Ring. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
He didn't like how he was represented in those, and I mean, hey, if they cut up something that he said or edited it in some way, I understand why you wouldn't want to do it again.
Yeah, but did you see what the 2 episodes he's most pissed? Did you see what 2 episodes he's most pissed off about?
Those?
I'm sorry, 3. It was Owen Hart.
Yeah.
The plane ride from hell, and ironically, the Nancy and Chris one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He said that he wasn't happy with how it projected him or whatever. He said, I never went on record ever saying what did or didn't happen. Because he says he will not talk about it, but it painted him as a light, like he was saying, like he really believed or what he knew or what he didn't know or whatever. Huh. And he says, I will not go on public record about talking at all on what my opinion is.
Chris and Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't go public on what my opinion is about it. You ask me about what I know and what I saw during that time, I'll answer you that. But they put like an overdub or something of him talking about, and like that it was something crushing or whatever. And then he goes, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life, making it seem like he knew something. And he was pissed off about that.
I mean, that's like them firing him and blaming him for Flair being drunk.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
on the video game panel or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah, that stupid thing. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was.
And then Arn Anderson, didn't he get fired for letting Alicia Fox go out to the ring drunk or something?
Yep.
Yeah. And one time Fit Finlay got fired because he had, was it the Un-Americans? He had somebody interrupt the national anthem at a house show, and then Vince fired him because there were veterans with free tickets, like veterans in the front row. But that was like the whole reason Fit did it was to get heat, was to get the heels booed. You know what I mean? Like it was intentionally anti-American somebody's interrupting the national anthem to get a rise out of the veterans. And that was like the whole idea of the angle. And
meanwhile, when Roddy Piper worked in there and he went to Mexico, he said he was going to make the national anthem and start playing the cucaracha on a bagpipe. But that's okay.
Or when Chris Jericho wiped his ass with the Brazilian flag and had to like immediately apologize, or he was going to be like fined or jailed or something.
Shawn Michaels stuck the Canadian flag up his nose.
A lot more than that with his nose flag. With it.
But I mean, those are those should have been allowed. Whereas like JBL goose stepping was very, very bad.
JBL goose stepping got him a world title, literally. The only reason JBL
good thing
got
that was
that
on a house show though.
It was, but here's what happened.
That's why it was. That's why it. You know, he ended up.
It was a house show in Germany. It was in like Dusseldorf, I believe, and in Germany,
Hasselhoff is very popular there.
yes, he is. Don't feel
for freedom.
So in Germany, it is. I don't want to just say flat out, but for the most part, it is illegal to use Nazi symbolism in your artwork. You know, in not just swastikas, but also like this Nazi salute and all that other stuff. So it is
for good reason.
For good reason, but also apparently there is an exception for art or artistic performances or depictions or whatever. There are certain ways that it's not illegal, but still controversial because it's in Germany.
You shouldn't do it anywhere.
You should. But JBL, to try and get heat in Germany, did it. This was early. It was either early cell phone video or somebody had a camcorder at the house show and got footage of it. And that spread around. JBL was he was a commentator on MSNBC. I believe it was MSNBC or Fox or one of them.
Fox. Oh, was that when his book was out?
Yeah, so JBL is Fox. Okay.
Have more money now.
Right. Yeah. And it was, if you notice the book cover for that book, because he was legitimately investing, but he was still in his like Stan Hansen cosplay. He had the long black hair with the beard and that cowboy hat. He still looked
regular
like
Bradshaw.
He looked like regular Bradshaw on the cover of the book. After he started getting headlines for this Germany thing. Then, of course, he gets interviewed on Fox News a lot more. It's it's my free speech. It's my right as an American. You know what I mean? Like, he got so notable. That was why Vince put the title on him. He's like, this guy's got a book. He knows how to invest. Apparently, he's got money. He's, got this notoriety from being on Fox. Now he's got this notoriety from being spread around as this viral video. And long story short, as Paul Heyman said, the reason JBL held the title so long, Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. And yeah, here we are.
Pretty much.
That was the best shoot I've ever seen.
And of course, JBL tries to go, like he had like the fake Red Fox, Sanford and Son Hardtail. Oh, Elizabeth, like he was not hurt by it. It's like, bro, that was
Elizabeth. Really, I'm coming to see you.
It's a solid burn. Like that whole promo's great. That one thing is that's a killer.
Yep. And he goes, I got 3 words for you, Edge. 2 words for you, Edge. Matt freaking Hardy. Spits at the big, goes, that was 3. Right?
Hide your wives. It's Edge.
Hide your wives. Oh, man.
That was a scary room to be in.
Oh,
I forgot you
going real quick. Going back to
both of them. Scary.
Going back to this Gorgeous George thing real quick. I just want to say that the person I feel the worst for is our good friend Destro, because he's legitimately the grandson, right, or grandnephew or whatever of the original Gorgeous George.
And he did at one time play Gorgeous George. Like his
Gorgeous
gimmick was
George
Gorgeous
George
or
something like that.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just fucked up.
Did he buy it? Did Macho buy it from the Maestro?
He may
possibly.
I feel like
I don't know.
I don't know if he bought it from the wife or if he bought it from the family. But anyway, it's all, oh God, it's all so weird. That's like when the Patriot. So there was a Patriot, Del Wilkes, and there's a Patriot, Tom Brandi. Tom Brandi, to this day, will contend that he bought the gimmick of the Patriot from Del Wilkes. Del Wilkes until his dying day, literally the day he died, somebody put up a podcast interview they did with him a week before. Till his dying breath said, Tom Brandi's a piece of shit and never bought it from me. He stole the gimmick and just ran with it. And the fact that he still held on to it a week before he died and was still talking about it on podcasts tells me it's got to be true.
Tom Brandi is fucking Salvatore Sincere.
Yes, Sal Sincere.
Yes.
Yeah, supposedly bought the Patriot gimmick from Del Wilkes. I don't believe it. Speaking of wacky, stupid gimmicks and hide your wives, we got to talk about this a little bit. It's right. We're almost towards the top of the hour. They had a double wedding on Raw last night.
Oh my!
Of course they did.
Lord.
I saw a still with Tamina like jumping onto Tozawa or something like that.
Oh, it was, yeah. I didn't listen. I kind of fast forwarded through it, but it was a
First
whole
of all,
mess.
just let me get this out of the way for the girls that are watching. Whoever dressed Tamina, they need to give her a refund.
Oh no,
because that dress just did not work. Bad.
Well, so the whole point was...
He's like, yeah, I'm not touching that. Let's keep going.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about wedding dresses.
Here's Randy from Say Yes to the Dress when you need it.
But basically the gimmick of the wedding was all 4 of... It turns out, I guess, that all 4 people were lying, and they were all just trying to trick each other so one of them could win the 24/7 title. Because it was like they did the kisses and everybody's technically legally married, but then Reggie, while he's kissing what's her face, Dana Brooke, dips her like like they're dancing and he dips her, but then dips her all the way to the ground and pins her. And referee comes in, boom, and then he stands up. He's got the belt. Tamina in her wedding dress super kicks him. Ruffles go everywhere. She pins him and wins the title, and then Tozawa sunset flips Tamina. Again, ruffles go everywhere. It looks like Tozawa is inside her fucking dress trying to peel the garter out with his teeth. He pins Tamina, and then somehow, after getting back up, Dana Brooke flies in from somewhere off screen. Flies in out of nowhere to crossbody block Tozawa to get shades of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with that flying crossbody from Dana Brooke, pins Tozawa, takes the 24/7 championship, and then, for what I can only say is for no reason at all, for no discernible reason, she jumps on R-Truth's back and gets a piggyback ride out of the arena.
Like she's Carmella 2.0.
I'm not currently on drugs, Eric. I'm not lying to you. This happened.
No, I believe you.
I ate too much Chinese food and had a bad
I'm just
dream.
like, I'm thinking like they might as well.
The Chinese chicken.
I'm thinking like shit. They might as well do the Billy Gunn, Tori Wilson, Nydia, Jamie Noble foursome thing.
Ooh.
Remember they all ended up in bed?
Unfortunately.
Oh, man.
That's 10 seconds of my life I won't get back in that thought process.
All I remember is naked Al Wilson.
Oh, God.
Poor guy.
Just for the record, everyone that's watching the show, we didn't say we were going to talk about good stuff going back the past 20 years.
No. Al Wilson had a fake heart attack and died on TV, and then unfortunately died in real life like 20 years later, as you do. But like,
it wasn't Dawn Marie's fault that time.
And you know what? And it wasn't until then, or at least until Tori was inducted in the Hall of Fame, that we realized that he was actually her real father.
Well, there's two things going on here. Is one, for a long time, nobody knew that it was actually her dad, thought it was an actor. And it's amazing that it was actually him. Two was, there's a generation of people that I think grew up as a kid just assuming that guy, I don't know if he died on TV, but I think you would assume that guy was already dead.
Yeah.
And then to hear that he wasn't, that he was still alive, it was really her dad, and he passed away the day before she was going to the hall. The whole thing was just off. The poor guy deserved better.
I'm sorry. I don't care how much money is involved. I would not let my dad be doing that shit on TV.
He was out there in his tighty whities.
Ugh.
Yeah.
In the middle of the ring.
We did not need to see that.
No. Yeah.
At least the Miz's dad got to do something cool.
Yeah, didn't he get to like punch somebody?
Oh my God! He squared up to Shane McMahon. He stood there like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish logo, like he was going to do something with his.
God bless Papa Giorgio.
He's the best. Oh, so yeah, that wedding was a damn disaster. I don't know what it accomplished.
Nothing.
Because now there's no like. That's over. All the storyline that you have with all of these people is just over. Right? There's no more. I mean, unless they're all going to get revenge.
Don't say that there's nothing else they could come up with, because next week there will be something they can come up with now.
Maybe one of the shows are going to be in Utah. They're all going to get married together.
I'm sorry. I just heard my son from another room just go, Braun Strowman, you're a heel. So I don't know what he's doing, but all I just heard was
he must just be reading Twitter.
He has a Braun Strowman action figure, so I'm assuming it's
one funny thing I remember. I think it was the Edge Lita wedding, and then Kane came up from the thing, and the priest was like, "Jesus Christ!"
The priests were all like, because one time, every so often it'd be Reverend Slick, and that was always fun to see Slick out there. The guy that said Jesus Christ.
You are a man, Kamala.
Eric Bischoff with the making. Did somebody say 3 minutes?
That was great.
Oh, shit. That was the best, because that is the best prosthetic makeup.
Yes, that was
I've
amazing.
ever seen. And I'm talking about movies, special effects. Like, I've watched like Lord of the Rings, and you can tell that shit's makeup. Nobody knew it was Eric Bischoff.
This was better than Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. It was better than Face Off. I could eat a peach for hours.
How about you fuck your own face?
His face off.
I love that movie.
I want to have fat hands and I want to dance. That's what Tom Cruise told the.
I have fat hands. I want to dance.
Yeah. But, I think the only good ever real wrestling wedding had to have been Liz and Randy's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was the one where what's his name? Not Hillbilly Jim, but
Uncle Elmer.
Uncle Elmer.
The one
And
that
that
Jesse
was-
Ventura was there, and the whole
And that was a real wedding.
yeah,
Right.
that was.
It was a legit, like, folks, this Uncle Elmer wedding, if you go back and look at it, they signed, like, that was their wedding. They signed papers after that. They were legally wed in that ring. So
Was that what led to the Uncle Elmer versus Adrian Adonis WrestleMania 2 match?
Yep.
Because of Jesse Ventura's involvement, and Jesse and Adrian were AWA tag champs at one point, so there was
Jesse
that
said
whole thing.
Uncle Elmer and his bride looked like two carp going after the same piece of corn. They were kissing, like, just fantastic stuff. The old stuff is so. The Uncle Elmer wedding legitimately had to happen in 1982.
Yep.
There's no, but it's memorable. I heard that one. I heard Mom from 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, well, but Dad's out there, so you can go see that guy out there. That's your dad. Go introduce yourself.
See that guy out there.
He came back from getting milk after 10 years.
I told you, I'm keeping the computer up here.
Oh my god.
One thing about last night, which I, like I said, I did not watch it. I read results. I'm like, I'm okay with Austin Theory in general, but I'm not a fan of him winning the title off of fucking Finn Balor.
We were just talking about that before we went on
we
the
were
air.
talking about that before we went on air. I'm glad you brought it up.
I will say this though. Maybe Balor can feel real disenfranchised and end up joining Edge and Damian Priest.
Well, Rhea Ripley is going to probably now.
Well, didn't she beat the shit out of Liv?
She did.
Turned on another partner. Then there was the purple light in the background.
See, that made a lot more sense than fucking Nikki turning on Rhea.
Yeah. I think they should license the Purple People Eater song for Edge's new group.
Was a one-eyed one or
there's a purple hue.
And because I wonder, are they going to call it that? Because it's like the Ministry, it's like the Brood. I wonder if they're going to have if they're going to tie it into any of that, like
the Purple Order.
The
Purple Rain.
Oh, they could call him Purple Rain. Yeah.
Let's get Prince Iakea back in his
back in his friggin'
the artist formerly known as Prince
gimmick
Iakea
with Paisley. Fucking,
that's another guy I loved. I loved Prince Iakea.
All those cruiserweight guys in WCW, like Blitzkrieg, who only wrestled for a year or two.
Blitzkrieg was awesome.
Blitzkrieg was the best, and then he retired to be like an IT guy.
Yeah, but I had a crush on Prince Iakea, man. Not gonna lie.
Wow.
He even had a brief TV title reign.
Vince is gonna be adding this one now to Kat's list of weird guys.
Evan Courageous?
Yeah, with 3 count.
Oh man, he was cool. When I was a kid, I thought the lamest guys like Buff Bagwell and Evan Courageous were the coolest fucking guys, and I don't think they are, but they had at the time. I was like, that's what cool looks like. You just have abs and a backwards red fitted MLB hat.
American males.
And a freaking a barbed wire tattoo.
Yes, every cool guy had a barbed wire tattoo in the 90s. I don't know if it was barbed wire or tribal, and somehow Goldberg's was both.
Don't know how, but that's okay.
It was both barbed wire and tribal at the same time.
And then guys started getting belly button rings too. It was like, what the fuck?
The point that of no return for me was Batista with the belly ring and the belly tattoo.
And the sundial around it. Yep.
Yeah, the sundial. Yeah.
Oh, I saw this comment from Randy Orton. It was a little video, and he said that when he was still, before he even got to WWE, he was like, before he was like 18 or whatever. It might have been like right after the whole when he went AWOL
yep.
or whatever, and he said he was a big Goldberg fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was almost going to get the Goldberg logo as his tattoo, and thankfully he did not.
Do you know how many?
No, but then he got the same.
Yeah, but he did get the barbed wire.
And then he started getting all the stuff covering up around it and everything, so it didn't look like it was just the.
Now he's got cool ass sleeves.
Right on the middle of his back, that's a big tribal thing.
Yep.
He's never covered. That's still like part of his logo and all that. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
guy.
Tell you, I still
Sick
miss
artwork, man.
the single Brahma bull on the rocks.
Yeah, I
arm.
know. The new tattoo is nice and all. Like, it's very well done, and it's a big skull or whatever. But yeah, I just miss the old little Brahma bull. The crappy little,
That's not a skull. That's a Samoan thing.
No, the Brahma bull on his arm
Oh, on its other arm. Okay.
got covered up by a big bull skull. Yeah. I know.
Sorry,
So
I was thinking of the wrong side.
yeah,
Well,
right.
didn't,
Other
they,
arm,
didn't
yeah.
they change John Tenta's tattoo from a
Yeah, that poor guy got it touched up
To
from
a shark?
tiger to a
Yeah,
shark.
the tiger got changed into a shark.
Shaved half his head, looked like an asshole.
like? Was there really that big of a discrepancy on the Avalanche name? Like they thought it was so close to Earthquake that they.
Yeah, I guess there was. Yeah,
Just let him come out as John Tenta and leave him the fuck
I
alone.
know. Just find another.
I'm not a shark. I'm a man.
Yeah, just find another weather event to name him after.
It was
But,
like Turbo, a Tugboat, Typhoon, and then he's the Shockmaster.
And then John Tenta became fucking Golga in the
Yeah.
oddities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
They
was
didn't
like-
want to bring him back as Earthquake because he lost too much weight.
The man had cancer. What the fuck?
Yeah, the whole thing is again, it's so dumb. We'll bring you back. We'll bring you back. You'll be Golga. You'll be Saba Simba. You'll be Butch. Like what the fuck? Like all these
Saba
stupid
Simba.
ass
Oh my
names.
God.
But,
Like Tony
You're making me
Atlas.
feel really old, Saba
Tony
Simba.
Atlas
I
was
know.
like just. I think he was real. That was at the point when he was really down on money, so
yes,
he was
that
willing
was
to
yeah.
do anything.
Yeah, that was
That was-
1988, 89-ish.
That
yeah.
was like when he said Vince McMahon saved his life.
1990, and he should. I mean, shit. They, with all the whole thing with Sergeant Slaughter going around at that point, they should have brought him back with the Mr. USA gimmick.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure. He could have
Put
easily
him
been a
as
guy
Mr.
that
USA with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Hulk Hogan as
Yeah.
that's a Survivor Series right there.
Yeah.
As long as the Undertaker is not your opponent on the other side of the ring.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, so real quick, what's his name there? Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett now, but Wade Barrett had the Goldberg tattoo and got it. If you notice, he's got like roses and other stuff. It got turned into like a rose bush, basically. But
Oh, God.
he had it, and then my buddy Bull Dread had the Goldberg tattoo, and he has since gotten it expanded and covered and added to and all that. Like he did the Randy Orton, where they just took the tribal stuff and added more to it, so it no longer looks like what it used to look like.
I could just picture Goldberg saying to Barrett, "Wait, you're covering my tattoo?" And then Barrett goes, "I'm afraid I've got some bad news."
Oh man, that was fun. There was
I
another
loved
guy that should
Bad News Barrett. I loved it.
but he was a heel that was getting cheered. So instead of turning him babyface, they punished him by firing him.
Well,
Stupid.
Vince, remember and this was years ago, and it was on the show. Your idea was, remember when Ray unfortunately got, booed out of the building as number 30 in the Rumble, the Daniel Bryan thing?
Mhm.
And poor Ray, like your idea was to have Barrett come out and like they play Bryan's music, but then Barrett comes out and says, "I'm afraid I've got some bad." That would have gotten a lot of heat for him as a heel.
God. I think if they did that, they might have burned the building down.
Yeah, that would have been another riot situation.
That crowd was so mad. And then Roman Reigns won. The look on the Rock's face, he's
What
pointing.
the
He's
fuck
like,
is going on here?
Rock was so confused.
But that was the Rumble that Batista won.
That was the Batista one.
But they basically did the
They
same
booed
thing
that
with Roman
too.
Reigns the next year.
Yeah. They fucked it up twice. Yeah.
They
I
fucked it
forgot
up
about
more than
that.
twice because the year before that was the 40-man Royal Rumble that Alberto Del Rio won.
Yeah.
Royal Rumbles are not
There
what they
was
should be anymore.
There was a time where the Royal Rumbles were awful.
And they're not now?
Not that they've been great lately or anything, but like the one that Shinsuke won was really good.
You've watched, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but didn't one year you watch every Royal Rumble leading up to the Royal
Yeah,
Rumble?
because I did a blog on each of them, like 30 in a row, like 30 days in a row.
Oh my god, I don't know if I could or could. Like, if I did that, I would have to like write. I would want to write it down to say, okay, these are the best ones, and like if there's a streak of bad ones, or how many ones are good and how many ones are bad.
Well, we watched one with my kids,
It
Eric
was
and
the
I.
'89 one.
Yeah, we were like, wow, this one was. Why did we think this one was good when we were kids?
Well, because
I
it
don't
was
know.
new.
There was still some cool aspects of it, like Hope.
The Royal Rumble, no, but we watched what was it? The Rockin' Robin Judy Martin match. Oh,
The weird Harley Race versus Haku match.
yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The best part of that match was Heenan because he was going to go with the winner either way.
Yep. We were like, we were
But
very
the Rumble
uncomfortable watching
itself,
that
though,
one.
was good. Like the like Axe and Smash starting as number 1 and 2.
Right.
Then Andre comes out and they turn their attention to him, and like Hogan eliminates Savage and Savage gets pissed, and the whole
And then Elizabeth is in the ring. Yeah,
the weird.
That's
like-
when like Royal Rumbles act, but that's just it. Royal Rumbles back then had a story.
Yeah.
There was a story within the story of the Royal Rumble match itself.
The only problem I had is like I don't mind that Big John Studd won it, but I wish it would have led to him versus DiBiase at Mania because of it.
Right.
Yeah, that was before they had that stipulation, right?
Oh yeah, that was a few
'Cause they
years
didn't-
before.
Yeah, the Rumble was just its own thing. You
The
would
first
just
time
need
they
to
had
have
that
the Royal Rumble.
stipulation was when Yokozuna won.
Yeah, the titles never came into play until the year that Ric Flair won.
When Flair, yeah,
Flair
that was
won the
92.
title
that
in
is
the
still
Rumble in
my
92.
favorite Royal Rumble.
Same.
Well, yeah, because there's stakes. Everybody in it basically is somebody you remember or was a star. You know what I mean? Like
And
it was.
and Heenan's commentary the whole time, plus Piper's promo on the Mountie that night too.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
I used
And
to be able
compare
to
it to
recite that.
'93.
Yeah, but that probably was like one of the last great Royal Rumble. Like you said, it was just a jam-packed roster the whole time.
And
92
also,
was good. 99 maybe 98, 99.
98 was good because it had Austin winning and the Three Faces of Foley,
Yes, that's
Right.
Yeah, yep.
which I feel like they dropped the ball with the Bray Wyatt Fiend thing. They should have had him come out like as 3 different characters during a Rumble.
They dropped a lot of balls when it
They
came to
dropped
that
a
guy.
lot
though.
of stuff when it comes to.
They've even dropped Alexa Bliss. I know we've run long here, so here's another brief thing for you. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com and the Fightful Patreon page has said that even though Alexa Bliss has been ready to go off her injury,
That's Elimination Chamber.
they have no plans to use her. They've not had plans. They've kind of created
Yeah,
a soured on her.
I heard she's been vocal about like she's not happy with the way they're using her. And honestly, I
correct.
can't blame her.
That's
how
one
about
hell of a
Asuka?
wedding she
Same
had, though.
thing. Yeah, and I understand people kind of use that as an excuse. Oh, she planned a big wedding, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but Carmella and Corey planned a wedding.
That
And they
had
were on
nothing to
TV
do
the
with
whole
the
time.
wedding. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, Ryan
was a
Cabrera
lavish
actually
fucking wedding.
sold the pictures to People Magazine. It is a freaking awesome rock and roll themed wedding. Like, she came out to Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Wow.
If I didn't love this chick anymore.
Well, yeah, and then like Avril Lavigne was there, and who they
I
had?
liked Raquel's dress,
Yeah.
Was that the one where poor
and Braun was in a pink shirt.
Yep.
poor Moxley, like his flight got pushed around? And
Oh
Moxley,
yeah, that's why he had
showed up
regular
in like
clothes.
Crocs and sweatpants.
Dude, who gives a shit? It
He
still
had
looked freaking
no
amazing.
time.
But
He
you know what?
literally had no time to
that's
change.
him anyway. Like I can't, you can't really imagine
probably
Mox
would
in
have
a
just
suit
taken
anyway.
the sweatpants off and put jeans on, but he still would have showed up in the Crocs and the leather jacket.
Yeah. Apparently, Renee had a whole outfit picked out for him and ready to go, but he didn't. He didn't have time to change in between the getting
Sounds
off the
good.
plane and whatever.
Is Renee ever going to return to wrestling at all?
She's happy being a mom, and
Yeah.
she does her podcast.
Yeah,
I know
think AEW
ESPN
could
was
use her for
trying to
something.
recruit her for years when she was in WWE.
Yeah, but that's a big commitment. If you have kids, you probably don't want to do that commitment.
I mean, they had Michelle Beadle, so that's who they had.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what that is either, but I can delete it.
What happened?
Never mind. We're looking at something on the screen that you can't see. But anyway, we should probably.
It must be
up.
John Cena because I can't see him.
We're gonna pack up.
We're gonna pack it up, pack it in. Let
me begin. Came to me, better me. That's a sin. Whatever. I know.
It took me a long time to realize that was Everlast, like the lead guy.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking strange.
Oh, and here's another random interesting fact. You know John Williams, the composer that did all the movies and shit?
Yes, sir.
His son is the lead singer of Toto.
That's weird.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is weird. We've learned a lot today. We learned a lot today. That's all I'm going to say. Holy shit on
old
a shingle.
Shitty WCW, and
we ran the gamut. We barely talked about regular stuff. But anyway, this has been the War Report podcast, brought to you by Tag Me a Date. Follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date. All over the place: Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc.
Superstar Instagram.
Yeah. That's his next venture. Poor Billy Graham. Yeah, so follow us on all the major platforms. We're on YouTube, Tag Me a Date.
Major platforms.
We're on twitch.tv/War Report. And I think Facebook is the War Report. Facebook's also Tag Me a Date. Just search, if you're on whatever platform, just search for Tag Me a Date or the War Report. And also, I think that's, the audio podcast. So if you want to watch the videos, it's on Twitch and YouTube. But if you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, you can go to one of your favorite podcast apps like Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Type in the War Report. There are 2 War Report wrestling podcasts right now. Fun stuff. But if you look at the icon, you will see Tag Me a Date on the graphic, and just make sure that's the one. You hit subscribe.
And all that is possible because of our intern Ryan.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say all things are possible through Jesus. And I'm like, no, he's Jewish, so we can't. That's not what he's saying. All things are possible through intern Ryan. All things are possible through Ryan. So I appreciate you.
Who's not Jewish?
Surprisingly, I thought I saw his last name and I thought he was. I'm not going to blow up his his whole government name. I thought he was Jewish based on his last name. That was me. I don't know. Everybody else on the show aside from me is Jewish. I just assume.
I'm not.
All right. Oh, you're not
my
marriage.
husband's Jewish.
Through marriage, you are.
Technically,
insemination. Okay, whatever.
You never made the leap. Okay, I get it. But anyway,
I enough keeping up with my own religion. You want me to add another one?
So yes, Ryan takes the audio from these silly podcasts and puts it up within the hour of the podcast going off the air. So we're live Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 6 to 7 ish, and then between 7 and 8, he pulls the podcast and uploads it to your podcast app. Audio versions only on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google, Apple. Easy stuff. Look for us, subscribe, follow, tell your friends, yada, yada, yada. And that's it. Any final words before we close off for today?
Oh, boy.
All right. That'll do it for all of us. Bada bing, bada boom. Realest guys in the room. We out.
How you doing?